Wallpapering is the DIY job that scares me the most, but a good finish is achievable if you just have a little patience and take your time, and as always the key is in the preparation. There are 3 different types of wallpaper that you can use. There's traditional paste the back, there's ready pasted, and the newest type, which is paste the wall. We're going to be using the latter to create a feature wall, taking a wall like this from 0 to hero.
First thing we need to do is find out how many rolls of wallpaper we're going to need.
Okay, so just measure the height, measure the width of the wall,
right.
work out the square meterage.
Work out your area.
Right.
Then when you've chosen your wallpaper, it will tell you very clearly on the roll how many rolls you need to buy for your area.
Okay.
Okay? Really important point. Make sure that all the rolls you buy are matching the same batch number. That's because there might be a slight variation in shade or colour.
Oh, right.
So if you match the batch numbers, it's going to be perfect.
So when you're buying your rolls, make sure that they've all got the same number.
That's right.
Right, okay.
Just an extra tip as well, buy an extra roll just in case. If you don't need it, you can always return it to the store.
Okay.
Okay.
Good stuff.
So first thing we need to do, we're going to put our first piece of paper here.
Right.
So we need to find a really vertical straight line here.
Okay.
And the way to do that is to measure 50 centimetres in from the corner.
Right.
That is slightly less than the width of our paper. That way, we've got an allowance for a little bit of an overhang in the corner.
Right.
So we're going to use this straight line that we're going to draw in a minute as our first straight edge.
Okay, so we're not using the corner of the wall?
No.
Because that may not be completely vertical?
That's right. Sometimes old houses, or even new houses,
yeah,
a little bit wonky.
Okay.
So best thing to do, 50 centimetres in from here, then get a nice straight line. So do you just want to mark 50 centimetres for me?
Okay.
That's great. Now using our spirit level, using this point, we're going to draw a line on the wall all the way up.
Right.
Making sure it's really straight. That's great. Now we're just going to move the spirit level up and continue our straight line. So we're going to offer the paper up to the wall.
Right.
Just so we can get our length.
Yep. Do we want an overhang on the top?
Yeah.
Or what, just in case the ceiling isn't...
Sometimes the ceiling, just like the wall, can be not straight, so let's do an overhang and then we can cut it in after. That's great. And what I'm going to do down here, I'm going to trim off the bottom so it's off the roll, leave an overhang about 3 inches, just so we've got, again, a little bit to cut off.
Okay, so what we're doing is we're giving us room to sort of play top and bottom.
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant.
So I'm just going to trim that off now. So we've got an instant mix wallpaper adhesive here. Make sure you read the instructions on the back of the packet. It'll tell you exactly how much quantity of water you need and how many packets of this you need for the size of your room. Okay.
Leave it for 3 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, 3 minutes later.
What you need to do now, Matt, is just give it another really good stir.
Right.
Yeah, that looks absolutely fine. You need to put it on, starting from the top.
Okay.
Really generously all over the panel that we've marked out.
Okay.
Just go over our pencil line by about the width of the brush.
Why is that?
That's so when we do our next panel, we don't have to start pasting over our paper that we've already put on.
Oh, I see.
If that does happen when you're doing your next paper, just grab a damp cloth and wipe the adhesive off straight away.
Okay.
It'll be fine.
Okay. So starting from the top.
Right into the corners, that's it. And don't forget, Matt, just to do your extra brush stroke all the way down to the left of the line. The really great thing about pasting the wall instead of the paper, the paper's got a special backing on, which means it won't expand when it's wet. So when we put it up, once it's dry, it's not going to shrink.
Right.
Don't worry about the fact that you've gone onto the other wall, Matt, because what we'll do, we need to get the paper right into the corner, cut it to size, and then we're just going to peel off the extra edge on the other wall and wipe it with a damp cloth.
Okay. And I suppose the great thing about pasting the wall is that the paper is lighter when it goes to the wall, so it probably won't rip or tear.
That's right.
Okay.
So now we're ready to hang our paper. Now remember, we've got a bit of an overhang at the top.
Right.
Of course, the most important thing is make sure it's right up against that pencil mark.
Yeah.
That's it with your hand. Smooth it all down.
Yep.
And then when you're ready, you can use the brush.
Right.
To smooth it down as much as you can. Getting rid of any large bubbles.
Okay. What about small bubbles?
That's absolutely fine. They'll just disappear when it dries.
Okay. Happy with that?
That looks great, yeah. So what you need to do now, Matt, is go back up the ladder. Then with the spatula, gently make a crease between the wall and the ceiling. Peel back the paper, cut straight along. And then that corner, you don't need to worry about that because that'll just fit in nicely.
Okay, so you literally cut all the way straight across.
That's right.
Okay, brilliant.
Okay. You don't need to worry too much if you go slightly below.
Right.
Because remember, we've got a little bit of leeway at the bottom here.
Okay.
That's it.
A moment of truth.
Well, it looks good.
Are you happy with that?
Looks brilliant.
Spot on. So we've done the top and happy with that. So now do we do the side?
Yeah, that's
Good.
great. Now we've got this really handy tool. It's a cutting wheel. You
Okay.
could use a craft knife, but have a try with that one.
Okay.
What you need to do now, Matt, is just start peeling off from the bottom.
Right.
Really, really carefully.
Okay.
All the way up to the top. Excellent. Just with a damp sponge, just going to wipe off the adhesive on the other wall. Great, now we just need to cut the bottom of the paper.
Okay.
So with the spatula and your craft knife, just push it into the bottom nice and carefully,
Yeah.
and then just trim off the bit at the bottom.
That's not too bad, huh?
That looks really good. Now that's one of the tricky bits done.
Okay, first bit up. Now we need to get the paste on the wall, offer up the second bit, and then we can match the pattern.
So now we're going to offer up our second roll of paper,
Okay.
remembering the overhang at the top, and obviously you're going to need to use that to match the pattern.
Well, we've made cracking progress. We've got all the way up to the door, and we've done one side, and now the other. Now, getting around features like doors and switches can be a little bit tricky. We're going to show you how it works. Okay, so
That's right, just like before.
I'm happy there.
Nice and careful with your spatula. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut this piece out here.
To about there-ish.
That's right, yeah.
Alrighty.
Just up to about...
Okie dokie. Would you like me to do that top bit?
Yeah.
I can sort of reach that and do here. Okay, so that's the weight taken off.
That's it, nice and carefully. And then with your knife, like we did before, just cut along there.
Okay, so now we'll put the diagonal cut in. And let's come to about there, give ourselves plenty of slack. We're happy there. You happy there?
Yep.
I'm not to mark them in the door frame too much. Okay.
Great. Yeah.
Just check that's all smoothed out, got rid of the bubbles.
Now what you need to remember, just like we did at the top here, we're going to cut a diagonal just down here to make it nice and easy to get the wallpaper into the corner.
Okay. Probably cut that off, can't I? Save ourselves a little bit of weight.
Great. Now you're ready to cut into the door frame. What you need to do now, we're just going to wipe away this glue here and then we're just going to trim the last section. Brilliant. Now we can move on with our next piece. This time we need to tackle going around the light switch. I've isolated the electrics, so what we need to do is find the light switch behind the paper, and with our knife we're going to cut across like an envelope shape, and with our scissors we're going to trim off the 4 flaps, then we're going to unscrew the light switch, take it away from the wall ever so slightly, stick the paper down underneath, then screw the light switch back onto the wall. That way we get a really nice neat finish.
Sounds easy. I suppose if you do this too heavily, you're going to scratch the light switch, aren't you?
Yeah, you need to be very careful.
So.
Also, just like you've done,
Yeah.
try not to go too far up into the corner because the paper might tear
Okay.
and you won't get a neat finish.
Okay. So if I stop about there.
That's it.
Okay. So now we undo
That's right.
the switch itself.
Unscrew the light switch, just take the faceplate off,
Yeah.
and then you can
And then
tuck these
gently-
edges.
Okay, and if we need to make little cuts to get
Yeah.
it behind it entirely, we can do that.
Of course.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's pretty good, huh?
That's great.
Tuck it behind in there.
That's it. When you're happy with that, you can fix the screws back in.
Okay. Okay, right.
Brilliant.
Let's get these.
Now we've finished this off,
Yeah,
and we've come to the end of our wall.
okay.
We must remember to put the electrics back on.
Absolutely. Okay, let's get rid of these bubbles. We were quite lucky here, but if your wall has got any damage, you'll probably need to use lining paper to hide the imperfections. Now you can hang this both horizontally and vertically, but the most important thing to remember is that joints don't want to line up with the decorative paper you put on top. Oh, and do remember that you need to leave at least 12 hours for the lining paper to dry before you pop the wallpaper on top.
Looks really good, well done.
Chuff for that, chuff for that.
One thing to bear in mind, Matt, if you are going to wallpaper a feature wall such as a chimney breast, you need to make sure you start with your first piece of paper right in the centre and work the way out to the sides. Otherwise the pattern might look uneven.
Oh, okay, sound advice, sound advice. Right, well I think we've earned ourselves a cup of tea, don't you?
Definitely.
Chuff for that.